Good evening. Tonight we bring you a developing story that's sending ripples through households, boardrooms, and government offices on both sides of the border. This is a story that hits close to home for millions of Americans, especially those whose livelihoods depend on the auto industry, and for families who are already feeling the pinch of rising costs. Early this morning, the Canadian government made a bold move, announcing sweeping new tariffs aimed directly at the heart of the American auto industry. The announcement came after weeks of tense negotiations and mounting frustration over what Canadian officials describe as persistent, unfair U.S. trade practices. It's a dramatic escalation in a trade dispute that has been simmering for months, now boiling over and sending shockwaves from Ottawa to Detroit. The Ambassador Bridge, a symbol of cross-border unity, now stands at the center of a growing economic storm. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau addressed the nation, declaring that Canada would no longer tolerate what he called unfair U.S. trade measures. He emphasized the need to protect Canadian workers and industries, vowing to stand firm in the face of American pressure. The new tariffs specifically target American vehicles and auto components, threatening decades of cross-border cooperation that have made North America a global powerhouse in car manufacturing. For years, parts and vehicles have moved seamlessly back and forth, supporting jobs and communities on both sides. The financial markets reacted swiftly. Auto stocks tumbled as news of the tariffs broke, and industry leaders scrambled to assess the potential fallout. Executives are now facing tough decisions about production, pricing, and jobs. For everyday Americans, this isn't just about politics or international headlines. It's about your wallet. The cost of new vehicles, especially popular trucks and SUVs, could soon rise sharply, putting added strain on family budgets already stretched thin. Every year, millions of cars and parts cross the U.S.-Canada border, often multiple times before reaching dealerships. Now, with new taxes and tariffs imposed at every step, the cost of building and buying a car is set to climb. Experts warn that prices for trucks and SUVs could jump by thousands of dollars, making new vehicles unaffordable for many Americans. Dealers are bracing for a slowdown, and consumers are left wondering if now is the right time to buy. Tonight, we break down what this escalating trade war means for you, for Detroit's workers, and for the future of the vital partnership between the United States and Canada. Stay with us as we explore the impacts, the stakes, and what comes next in this unfolding story. What did Canada do? They imposed retaliatory tariffs, taxes on American goods, designed to hit back at recent U.S. trade actions. The focus finished pickup trucks, SUVs, and critical auto components from the U.S. This is a sharp escalation, moving beyond negotiation to outright economic warfare. The tariffs could add up to 25% to the cost of targeted goods. Canada's move follows U.S. tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, which Ottawa saw as protectionist. By targeting the auto industry, Canada aims to pressure key U.S. states and force a policy change. Prime Minister Trudeau called it a matter of fairness. If Canadian goods face tariffs, so will American ones. This tit-for-tat sets a dangerous precedent, risking a cycle of retaliation. The era of easy, friendly trade across the border is over. Why now? The roots go back to the Trump administration's America First trade policy. Tariffs became a tool to protect U.S. industries and force concessions, disrupting decades of lowering trade barriers. The renegotiation of NAFTA into USMCA kept free trade but introduced stricter rules and a confrontational tone. Tariffs on Canadian steel, aluminum, and autos created deep mistrust. Even after new deals, the U.S. showed it would prioritize domestic politics over North American stability. Canada saw recent U.S. tariffs as a repeat of past tactics, protectionism disguised as national security. Ottawa now believes economic pressure is the only language Washington understands. The shift from collaboration to confrontation has eroded trust and made trade more volatile. Today's tariffs are a direct echo of that legacy. There's another player in this conflict: China. China dominates the global auto supply chain, producing everything from microchips to batteries. This dependency is a vulnerability for North American automakers. U.S. trade policies aim to reduce reliance on China by reshoring manufacturing, but it's costly and disruptive. As the U.S. pushes for North American sourcing, competition between American and Canadian suppliers intensifies. When U.S. tariffs hit Canadian producers, Canada feels unfairly targeted in a fight that's really about China. Canada argues it's a secure partner and should be exempt from protectionist measures. Meanwhile, China's control over key components gives it leverage over global automakers. The US-Canada dispute is a symptom of a larger struggle with China. Both countries are weakened by fighting each other while China's influence grows. The real challenge is global, not just regional. Detroit has long been the heart of American manufacturing. a city whose name is synonymous with the rise of the automobile. For generations, its factories have powered the nation's economy, providing stable jobs and a sense of pride for millions of American families. But today, that proud legacy faces an unprecedented threat, one that could reshape the future of the entire industry. The new Canadian tariffs are a direct and immediate threat to American factories and the hardworking men and women who keep them running. These tariffs don't just target products, they target livelihoods, putting at risk the communities that have depended on auto manufacturing for decades. The auto industry's cross-border integration is deep and complex. Every day, thousands of vehicles and parts move seamlessly between the US and Canada. When a trade war erupts, it doesn't just disrupt business, it sends shockwaves through both American and Canadian plants, threatening jobs on both sides of the border. A 25% tariff on American trucks makes them nearly impossible for Canadian buyers to afford. Canada is our largest export market for vehicles, and when prices soar, demand plummets. This isn't just a statistic, it's a direct hit to American workers and the companies that employ them. As sales fall, the impact is immediate and devastating. Production lines slow down or stop altogether. Layoffs ripple through Michigan, Texas, and other states where auto manufacturing is a way of life. For many, the fear of losing a job becomes a daily reality. The auto supply chain is a marvel of modern logistics, but it's also incredibly fragile. Parts often cross the border multiple times before a car is finished. Tariffs on components create confusion and chaos, leading to delays, shortages, and higher costs at every step. Automakers now face mounting costs and logistical nightmares. Every new tariff adds another layer of complexity, forcing companies to consider painful decisions, like shutting down plants or moving production elsewhere. The risk of widespread job losses grows with every passing day. American auto workers are caught in the crossfire of a dispute they didn't create. They show up every day, do their jobs, and now find themselves paying the price for political decisions beyond their control. Their future, and the future of their families, hangs in the balance. The United Auto Workers Union is sounding the alarm, warning that tens of thousands of jobs could vanish if the situation doesn't improve. Union leaders are calling for urgent action to protect workers and prevent a crisis from turning into a catastrophe. For families across the Midwest, this isn't just an economic issue, it's a personal crisis. Parents worry about paying bills, putting food on the table, and keeping their homes. Communities that once thrived on auto jobs now face an uncertain future as the threat of layoffs looms large. The system that was designed for maximum efficiency is now turning against itself. What was once a model of productivity and cooperation is now at risk of grinding to a halt, leaving workers, families, and entire communities to pick up the pieces. Thinking of buying a new car? Brace yourself. Prices are about to surge. Tariffs are taxes, and those costs get passed to you, the consumer. Imagine a Detroit-assembled pickup parts from Canada now face US tariffs, raising production costs. When the finished truck is shipped to Canada, it's hit again with Canadian tariffs. The result? Thousands of dollars added to the price of a single vehicle. Even cars sold in the US will get more expensive as supply chains are disrupted. Fewer new cars mean higher prices and longer waits at dealerships. Working families will feel the pain most. Trucks and SUVs are essential for many. A price hike could put new vehicles out of reach for countless Americans. This trade war is a new tax on consumers, straining household budgets. Let's look at the numbers. When we talk about trade wars, it's easy to get lost in headlines and political soundbites. But behind every policy decision, there are real people, real businesses, and real consequences. The numbers reveal the true impact. US-Canada auto trade is worth over $130 billion a year. That's not just a statistic, it's the lifeblood of thousands of companies and millions of workers on both sides of the border. Every day, thousands of vehicles and parts cross seamlessly, fueling economies and supporting communities. A 25% tariff could add $15,000 to the price of a new truck for Canadian buyers. Sales will collapse. Imagine walking into a dealership and seeing your dream truck suddenly out of reach. For many families, that's the harsh new reality. Dealers will see fewer customers, and the ripple effect will be felt across towns and cities. Nearly 300,000 US-built trucks were exported to Canada last year. Losing those sales means billions in lost revenue. That's money that would have supported American jobs, paid for local services, and kept factories running. The loss isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet, it's livelihoods at stake. Auto parts trade is just as vital. Tariffs punish the efficiency of our integrated supply chain. Parts cross the border multiple times before a car is finished. Disruptions mean delays, higher costs, and lost competitiveness for North American manufacturers. Analysts estimate new tariffs could add $500 to $1,500 to the cost of every US-built vehicle. That's not just for luxury cars. Everyday vehicles will become more expensive, squeezing family budgets and reducing choices for consumers. The Center for Automotive Research warns up to 2.5 million North American auto jobs are at risk. That's assembly line workers, engineers, suppliers, and even local businesses that depend on the auto industry's success. The threat is widespread and deeply personal. This isn't a minor dispute. It's an economic crisis in the making. Entire communities could be devastated if factories close and jobs disappear. The effects could ripple through the economy for years. The costs will be measured in billions and paid by workers and consumers. Families will feel the pinch, and workers will face uncertainty about their futures. The burden doesn't fall on governments. It falls on everyday people. The stakes are enormous for the entire industry. From Detroit to Ontario, the future of North American manufacturing hangs in the balance. The decisions made today will shape the economic landscape for generations. The numbers tell a clear, urgent story. This trade war isn't just about policy, it's about people, jobs, and the future of an industry that drives our economies forward. The impact won't stop at the auto industry. The auto sector supports jobs in steel, chemicals, tech, and transportation. Communities across the Midwest depend on stable auto plants. When factories cut shifts, local economies suffer. Small businesses, schools, and public services all feel the pain. Stock prices for automakers and suppliers have already dropped, reflecting investor anxiety. A prolonged trade war could slow investment in new technologies, putting the U.S. behind global competitors. The dispute weakens North America's position on the world stage, giving rivals like China an opening. What starts as a fight over auto parts can erode alliances and prosperity. The ripples from this conflict could reshape our world. Tonight, North America stands at a crossroads. The U.S.-Canada trade war is a clear danger to our economy, jobs, and wallets. Tariffs threaten to unravel the world's most integrated manufacturing relationship. The risks are real: layoffs, higher prices, and fraying economic ties. Every day these tariffs remain, the damage deepens. This is a self-inflicted wound that only benefits global competitors. Leaders in Washington and Ottawa must choose escalate or return to the negotiating table. The cost of failure is simply too high.